Africa, and welcome to another edition of Impact Stories. And we are live at Igbinedion University campus, Okada. And this program seeks to celebrate those who have achieved immensely in education. And so with me here today to discuss Impact Story is Prof Osisioma Basil, Chinedu Nwolese. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. You're welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us to let Africa know that indeed we have the capable men here. And so we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy.
Welcome back. This is Impact Stories, and we are celebrating academic mentors at the Igbinedion University Okada campus. Prof, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we would want people to know you. Can you tell us a short history about yourself, a brief introduction of yourself, your primary education?
Yes, I was born a Nigerian, but at Idemili North local government of Anambra State. I started my primary school at St. Teresa's Primary School at the age of 6. In those days, they say, put your hand like this. So
your
once
ears.
your hand, So once your hands can touch your ears, then you can start school. So I schooled from 1956 to 1958. And then my uncle moved to Irua. From Anambra, then Eastern Region to Midwest. Irua is in Edo State now. So there I completed my primary school at St. Paul's Catholic School, Irua. By the time the politicians started doing their thing, with their violence, 1964, because after the 1964 general elections, there was violence in the West. The Operation Wet, between 65, 66. So we had to run away. So my uncle went back to the East. But I stayed behind to finish my primary school. Then I joined him and had to redo primary 6 at St. Teresa's Primary School at Abakaliki in Ebonyi State before I now went into secondary school.
So where did you have your secondary school, and
my
who are some of your classmates, if you would remember?
My secondary school, I had my secondary school in 3 different places because of many reasons. I started from St. Enda's Secondary School, Iboko in Abakaliki, but because of the problem of guinea worm. In those days, there was no pipe-borne water. We were using pond water. So out of fear, we had to move out. I went to Christ High School, Abo, in Enugu State. I was there when the Civil War started in 1967. And we all went back home for 2.5 years. Because schools became either refugee camps or military camps. And so there was no education for 2.5 years in Biafra. The war ended in 1970, and then we went back to school. This time I went to Izzy Boys High School in Abakaliki. And then I finished there in 1971 and went to HSC High School in Merino College, Ugoja in Cross River State. So that's how I finished my
Your
secondary. I went to HSC, higher
Okay.
school, which I finished in 1973.
Okay, but before we go on, did you hold any position in your secondary schools?
Yes, I was senior prefect. Well, when I was in class 1, I was captain of the mosquito team. We had a football, many football teams from senior, junior, then I was captain of the mosquito team. You know, we had tiny legs, we were little children.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the mosquito team could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was captain of the mosquito team. In my final year, I was prefect, labor prefect in my last run at Abakaliki. So that's at the Merino College. I was the choir master.
Okay, that's right. You were exploring all your talents. Yeah.
So I was the head of the choir because it was a mission school. And then I introduced music, native music in the church. You know, those days it's Latin. They used in same mass, but we had to bring in native, what they call acculturation. You bring in African culture into the system, just to acculturize the church. Yeah, so that's the much we could do.
Okay, Prof. So normally when we are young, we tend to have this career ambition that we want to pursue. What did you want to be when you were young, and has it changed from what you...
Actually, when I finished my HSC, I applied to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, to read economics.
Okay.
But Providence changed things and brought me back to where I'm supposed to be, and that's where I'm making my impact. When I went for clearance, I was told you don't have credit in mathematics, so why are you coming to economics? And I said, but you have my documents for 6 months. Why did you admit me into economics?
Okay.
So it was dig dong, and then I had to write the vice chancellor and say, look, this is what is going on.
Yeah.
These people had my documents for 6 months. I resigned my job as a teacher. So why are they telling me that I don't have credit in mathematics? They should have known that long ago. And so I think eventually they said, okay, they called a meeting of the faculty. And the HOD of political science, young man, what did you score in English? I said, I had A1, they had decision in English. So, okay, I'll take him in political science.
Okay.
So that's how I moved into political science.
Yeah, but you intended to be an economist.
Yes, I wanted to go into economics, but Providence moved into political science. And actually, that's where God wanted me to be.
So can you tell us one memorable thing that you did when you were in high school?
The only thing there, you know, because higher school was supposed to be 2 years, but we were used as experimental guinea pig. We did it 1.5 years.
Okay.
And so we concentrated on reading. And then I had a reading timetable that I was following. Whether the teacher taught or not, I was going. And because I was not following the teacher, I was following my own timetable.
Yeah.
When the teacher gave us tests, I would score 38 or 35. And she was an Indian teacher. So one day she called me and said, are you not interested in my subject? I see you are a hardworking young student, but you don't do well. And then I brought my timetable. It was almost 4 feet by 4 feet. And I showed her, I read biology for 3 days, I read economics for 3 days, I read geography, I read general studies. So if I don't have your subject, biology, on my timetable, and you set tests, I will not leave economics and read biology.
Yeah.
So she understood that I had a plan and left me alone. But when the result came out, we were those who had the best scores.
Yeah.
And then she said, I didn't know you were working so hard, and you made me proud. So we had very B in biology, but when she did test, I always had 30-something. Right? So it's always good to follow a systematic study. And I used to tell my friends, it's not getting 80, 60 in class test that matters. What matters is what did you score at the end to get your certificate.
But you know, our system is such that if you are not scoring, you are
Ye-
not being promoted.
Yes,
so how do
yes.
You...
Well, in HSC, there was, the promotion was just from year 1 to year 2. And I did very well in year 1, so moved on to year 2.
So who has been your mentor, or at that time, who was your mentor, and did this person really shape your life and the things that you have been doing now?
Yes, in my secondary school, I had a master who was in class 3. I was in class 1.
Okay.
Yes. So I was following his footsteps. He and his friends would bring in class 3 notes for me to copy for them.
Okay.
So they thought they were giving me load, but they didn't know they were also bringing me up.
Yeah.
Because the topics I will meet in class 3, I was already reading them in class 1. Because if I'm going to, if I'm copying something for them on butterfly in biology, and I was not being taught butterfly at that stage, I was still going to meet butterfly in class 3.
Earlier.
I had copied it for them in class 1, so it's already in my head.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the only person, we'll call it our masters in those days. And in the other secondary schools, I didn't have any mentor because it was just 1 year, just to finish after the Civil War. But in Merino College, I was following the principal, who always told us, keep praying, keep reading. Yeah, so I was just following the advice he was giving. There was a time, of course, in the secondary school, I remember I used to like using my hand to eat. And I had a running battle with the principal. Being a mission school, you must use your cutlery, spade and shovel.
Knife,
yes, so I said, this is not African. Wait, when I come your country,
so you
can first bet here in Africa, leave me with my hand. So at a point, they threatened to suspend me from the school. And I said, okay, let's follow your rules until I finish.
Yeah.
And when we did my confirmation, we went for confirmation with the bishop, and he said, what name are you going to answer? I said, I'm going to answer Osisioma. He said, what is Osisioma? What is Osisioma? I don't know what does it mean? I said, Osisioma is good 3. He said, no, you can't answer Osisioma. I don't know what it means. I want you to answer Gregory. Then I asked him, what is the meaning of Gregory? He looked at me, he threw away my baptism, he said, you're an idiot.
Talking about your high school,
yes.
You went to University of Nigeria in Nsukka for your political studies.
Yes.
So what pulled you there? What attracted you to do political studies?
Well, like I said, it was a casual application. We just finished our HSC, and then myself and my friends were just working on holiday, and we passed by the post office at Abakaliki, and we saw this advertisement for Nsukka. We didn't prepare for it, so we just read it and said, university, okay, let's apply. It was those days postal order.
Yeah.
We went to the post office, bought the postal order and sent it, and then filled the forms when they came. Like I said, my eye was on economics.
Yeah.
But Providence moved me to political science.
Yeah, so after the MSc.
So after the first degree, I went to university. I went on youth service.
Okay.
I went on youth service to Oyo State. During the youth service, I performed excellently well from the records. Not self-praising, because the records are there. Because I started what we call the language handbook for youth corpers. It was in English, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. So you can say good morning in English, the Igbo will say Iputagora, and Yoruba will say Ekaro, and the Hausa will say Inakwana, just straight run like that. So you can, with one book, learn 3 languages.
Yeah.
For that, I got a Yoruba and an Hausa man to join me. So a Yoruba lady and an Hausa boy, young man. So for that, I was given a national award by the government of General Olusegun Obasanjo at the age of 28.
Oh,
yes, so I got a national award at the age of 28. You see, what interested me most there, it's not like these days. In those days, they would just give you the certificate.
Yeah.
Those days, no money, nothing. Today, you get money in addition. But few words there said, to you, we offer the nation's gratitude. You know, those words, at the age of 28, when the head of state says, to you, we offer the nation's gratitude, it was a lot to me.
It was a big accomplishment.
Yes, it was a big thing at that age.
Yeah.
And I got a job in Oyo State. No, I told you I'm from Anambra State. Did my youth service in Oyo State. And because of that award, I was given job in Oyo State. After 1 year, I went for my master's degree in the same Oyo State, from there to PhD. And from there, I've been there. So the house where I did my youth service in Ogbomosho, the same Oyo State, I still maintain the one room.
Okay.
For 40 years now.
Yeah.
I don't stay there, but I pay the rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but maybe when I retire next year from the university, I can go there.
And you also had your PhD in political science again.
University of
I realized there is an interest that had already been developed, even though you wanted to do economics. Yeah.
Yes.
So what made you want to further that or become a professor in that?
It's not as if it started, like I said, it was providence that moved.
Yeah.
But once I saw that that is the will of God, I moved on. Because from the position of assistant lecturer, I saw myself as contributing to the shaping of society. I was always on television, either Nigerian Television Authority or Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State or Galaxy. So most of the time I was on air. All right. So I said, God wants me to be saying something that will shape society. And if you move into economics for your masters, it will not be the same thing.
Yeah.
So I said, why not continue
on the same
on
trajectory?
This? Yeah, since God brought you from economics to political science, and you can see the work you are supposed to be doing. I write articles in newspapers, I write for magazines, and then from there we picked interest in defense and security forces. Began as resource person to Army, Navy, Air Force, the prisons, immigration, the customs. All right. So once I saw myself on that path, I said there's no need living since God has carved out this path. Yeah.
So how has it been rising from the assistant lecturer to full professor?
Yeah.
How has the process been?
It's been very interesting process. There was a hitch. It was smooth movement from assistant lecturer to lecturer 2 to lecturer 1 to senior lecturer, but problem came, which I don't need to explain here. I was assistant lecturer I was senior lecturer for 21 years. Because of problems, let me just say spiritual problems.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Yes. There were forces battling for one's career and one's direction.
Okay.
But since God says, this is your place, I maintained there.
Yeah.
I came here as in 2007 as a visiting professor. Then I went back in 2010. I was promoted professor in 2012, backdated to 2010. But my PhD students, some of them became professors before me.
Okay.
Yes, at least 3 of them.
Okay.
And they didn't like it, but it didn't move me.
Yeah, so I know that you've held some positions and you were the Dean for the College of Arts and Social Sciences.
Yes.
What have been the highs and the lows of carrying this portfolio?
Well, you do your job, mentor students. When I was here, it was a very good experience. We got the Department of International Relations. Okay. As HOD, with my staff, we expanded the curriculum from international relations to international relations and strategic studies, and that boosted the students' intake. And then our department became the flag bearer of this university, because we took our students on excursion, we visited military establishments, went to the prisons in Enugu, went to the Defense Industries Corporation in Kaduna, visited the American Embassy at Abuja. So as I was planning to go, they went to Sweden. So it was a good thing mentoring them, and that's also made their parents very happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We would go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk about his achievements and his life story. Stay tuned.
Igbinedion University, Okada, in the Ovia North local government area of Edo State of Nigeria, opened its doors to receive visitors from all parts of the world who came to felicitate and rejoice with the founder of the iconic university, His Excellency Sir Gabriel Osawara Igbinedion, CFR, on the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the university. Igbinedion University, Okada, in Edo State of Nigeria, is indeed Nigeria's premier private and leading university, which has successfully kept faith religiously without fail in the last 20 years to keep to the vision and mission of the iconoclastic and enigmatic founder of the university, Sir Gabriel Igbinedion, CFR, to bequeath to the future generation of Nigerians university education of international standards, where academic calendar is faithfully run without interruption.
Welcome back. This is Impact Stories, and we are here with Professor Ngolise of Igbinedion University. Prof, before we went on the break, you were talking about your position as Dean of Students at the College of Arts and Social Sciences.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of your achievements in and around the country, outside the country?
Yes. Well, our achievements have been mainly, as a scholar, we don't build upstairs, we don't buy jets. Our achievements are in our publications. Our achievements are in the impact of our ideas on society. So I've done a lot of publications. I have about 130 publications in books, journals, and chapters in books and monographs that have impacted seriously on society. We have trained here and at University of Ibadan more than 1,500 military officers.
Okay.
To the extent that most of the service chiefs, for example, the heads of immigration, prisons in this country pass through us. Apart from the chief of army staff that went to Bangladesh, the others pass through us at the University of Ibadan. So in terms of human resource development in the country, apart from students, we've trained a lot in the defense and security apparatus of the nation. I was a pioneer director of the Department of Training and Programs at the National Defense College, where all our officers are trained. It's a tri-service establishment, and I supervised so many, more than 300 first degree students, more than 200 master's degree students, and about 25 PhD candidates.
Yeah.
So that's was in Namibia in 2010 as a resource person to teach the military officers who were in school in the University of Namibia. All right. Right now, I'm rounding up my sabbatical leave at the Nigerian Army Resource Center in Abuja. We're also going to start a TY Buratai Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies at Ebonyi State University. That's also part of my creation.
Okay.
It was my vision. So we're going to start training defense and security officers apart from the civilians that also be there. And here in this university up there, there's a building going on.
Okay.
Lieutenant General Tiwa Buratai Center for Contemporary Security Affairs. All right. These are all part of the vision we are trying to mold. Of course, at the National Defense College, we had several Africans, French. We had friends and officers from Ghana.
Yeah.
I don't want to call their names because I don't have the authority. Some of them became your chief of army staff. Yeah, we trained some of them at the National Defense College. From other sister African countries, from France. So this our area. You can see why I said God brought me into political science.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm moving security studies out of the empirical dimension. From 2012, I started focusing on the spiritual dimension of human and national security. Because many people suffer spiritual attacks. They don't know where it's coming from.
Can you talk about your family a little bit?
Yes.
Your wife, the woman behind you.
Yes.
Let me say beside.
Yeah. Well, behind, beside,
yeah.
they are the same. In short, I prefer behind because your Batman watches and sees when danger is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I prayed for 10 years for my wife.
Oh.
Yes. And that was 1958 to 1969. The war ended 1970. By 1969, prophet said, God said, he has said your prayer. This is the name of your wife.
Oh.
Yes. I was then 19 years old.
That's obvious.
Yes.
Oh.
So by the time I finished my youth service, when I met her when I finished my HSC.
That's interesting. So you were looking for that particular
I was
name.
looking for the name because I was told the structure, I was told the complexion, I was given the name.
Wow.
When I was 19 years old.
Is the prophet still alive?
No, he had during the war. But there are other prophets
who
can give. Even there are more powerful ones that can give such names and such information. I call it strategic spiritual intelligence, which is a new field I've been developing.
Okay.
In short, if you're in the country by next 2 weeks, I will give you a copy of the lecture, which is being published now.
Okay.
On strategic spiritual intelligence.
Okay.
Yes.
So you said you have a wife. What's her name?
Bridget is her name.
Okay.
She's my prayer warrior.
Okay.
All right. You know, women are more powerful than men spiritually. So she is the Minister for Internal Security.
Okay.
In my house.
That's fine. And how many kids do you have?
Well, right now we have a daughter who has just finished her PhD in UK. Yes.
So you have only one child?
Yes. In our place,
okay.
we don't like counting, but as God brings, we take.
Okay, that is also good. And your political inclinations? I know you write a lot, but are you affiliated to a particular political party?
No, because as scholars or political philosophers, our job is to give ideas to those who make policy.
Okay.
So when you align yourself with a political party, you neutralize that function. So I don't belong to any party. I don't want to belong. I can analyze the president of any country from head to toe. All right? That's where I want it to be. I can talk on any topic.
So do you vote?
I have not voted for long because I see in this continent we don't have democracies. Yes. I will start voting when we have democracies.
Okay.
We don't have democracies. Many countries that claim to be democracies in Africa are not democracies. There's no rule of law. We have rule of men.
Okay.
There's no due process. Elections are rigged.
Okay.
All right. So they're not democracies.
Okay.
We have many countries in the continent that are answering federation that are not really federations. Some are saying they are republics, they're not really republics.
That's right. You said you would retire just next year.
Yeah.
But we know you are very active. What keeps you active and what keeps you physically strong?
Yes, the type of food I eat. I don't really have much time for exercise. Do exercise in my house.
Okay.
Occasionally I walk, I jog. But it's the type of food I eat. I take more of fruits and vegetables. And then I specifically go out for things that are anti-cancer. Because when a man crosses a certain age, there are risks you watch out for. And the earlier you start taking care of those things, the better.
Yeah.
So there are leaves, herbs I take. For example, bitter leaf.
Okay.
Some people don't like bitter leaf. But I take bitter leaf juice 3 times a week. Yes, I just boil water, tear the leaves with my hands, and put in the hot water. When it's cool, I drink. That
Cleanses
neutralizes
your system, the
excess
toxins.
sugar, removes toxins, and bitter leaf is also anti-cancer.
Yeah. So
Yes.
let's talk about your favorite sport and music.
Music, reggae.
Your favorite artist.
My brother now, they don't go. Bob Marley.
Okay.
But will not depend on his grandchildren.
Yeah.
They are
So I would
millions.
want to thank you very much
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
spending much of your time
Thank you.
with
Thank
us,
you.
and
Yes.
we are very grateful. So this has been Impact Stories, and we celebrated today Prof Osisioma Basils. My name is Irene Dufie Addai, and I have been your host. Thank you and stay tuned.